Regarding our charity, I'm going to ask one of the patient support group members to come up here and explain it in a bit more detail to you. Karen, where are you? She's kind of shy this one, but she'll explain it better than me. Just give her a couple of minutes of your time if you would, please.
To be anywhere near as erudite as the two gentlemen you've just listened to, but if you could give me a couple of minutes, I really appreciate it. The chosen charity tonight for the Meath Association function is the Myelodysplastic Syndrome patient support group. Now, many of you are probably thinking, Myelo what? And frankly, about 2.5 years ago, I would have been thinking the same thing. But sadly, Dad was diagnosed with this condition in June 2009, and so we've been sort of living with it as a family since. Myelodysplasia, if I could give you an equivalent, it's in the same sort of group of cancers, something like leukemia, but it's very rare and it's not well known. And the patient support group was formed not only to help and support people who've been diagnosed with this, they lobby Parliament to ensure that essential treatments and essential drugs are available to people who need it. They also work very hard to raise awareness of MDS, because one of the sad things about it is because it's not very well known, it takes a long time often for GPs to diagnose it, and it takes a long time for people to get the treatment that they need. So they campaign to raise awareness. They also raise money to fund clinical research, and they run a support forum where they can get patients together in London, in Scotland. They have a Dublin group, and they get people together. Because it's rare, it's important for people to be able to get together and speak about it. And I'm sure there's not a family in this room that hasn't been touched by a cancer or another, very serious illness like that. But when you've got no frame of reference, because you've never heard of it before, it's really difficult to know how to cope. And I joined the patient forum because I just felt it was a really supportive place for us to find out more about the condition and what we could do to deal with it. It's a blood disorder. Basically, your bone marrow doesn't produce the right kind of blood cells, and the ones it does produce don't work properly. And essentially, you end up being anemic, which means your organs aren't getting enough oxygen, and you can end up absolutely exhausted from doing something quite simple like climbing up the stairs. Your blood doesn't clot properly, so a simple cut or a spontaneous bleed can lead you to being in hospital and needing transfusions. And your white cell count is low, which leaves you very open to infection. So something small can quickly escalate into something quite serious, and doesn't always respond well to treatment. So, as well as thanking you very much in advance for the money that you're going to buy for these fantastic prizes, by the way, I've got my eye on a couple of them already. I won't tell you which ones, you can probably guess. But I would ask, if you are able, you should consider becoming blood donors, because one of the things that we know from experience that keeps people alive is regular blood transfusions, and in the case of our family, very, very regular. I'm a blood donor myself, and I can tell you from experience it doesn't hurt. You get a cup of tea and a biscuit afterwards, and it's about 45 minutes out of your time, maybe twice a year. So if you can, honestly, do sign up for it. It's very worthwhile. And secondly, if any of us in the room happen to be under 40, and that doesn't include me anymore, sadly, I would suggest family or friends, sons and daughters, cousins, nieces or nephews, I would ask you that you suggest to them that they join the Anthony Nolan Trust. Basically, you can register as a bone marrow donor. Now, bone marrow transplants are a life-saving potential cure for many, many disorders, including MDS. And nowadays, it doesn't have to be painful. They can gather the cells that they need from a simple blood donation. So we're kind of asking you to help in 3 ways tonight. One is to buy some raffle tickets. The second is to consider becoming a blood donor, and the third is perhaps to suggest to people that they should consider becoming bone marrow transplant donors for the future. So I'm going to go now, but thank you very much for your time, and thank you very, very much